Hey everyone, happy Thursday. Today I'm just going to go through Eat My Crust and a little bit about the 5K race itself happening this Sunday. So we'll just go ahead and dive right into it. Some of it might be a little repetitive that I said before the 15K because preparing for a race is preparing for a race regardless of the distance, but a little bit of differences regarding just the race distance. So trust your training, embrace the process, and have fun. Trust the training that you guys have done not only these last couple of weeks with dialing in some more speed focus work, but also the last 16 weeks, that massive base that you built before the 15K. And then before we started doing a little more speed on top of that, that doesn't just go away. So really trust that training. If you're getting nervous, go back and look at all the hard work you've done. It's really prepared you for race day. The second one here, embrace the process. Try not to focus too much on the end result. We just want to embrace the process. Think about how we're going to get to the starting line, how we're going to run the race, what it took to get there, etc. And then most importantly, have fun. It's a really fun race out there. There's a lot of people. There's a post-race party there on the football field afterwards. So let's go out there. We get to run with everybody we've gotten to know through camp and throughout the running community. So we get to go out there and just have fun on a Sunday morning. Maybe win a golf cart. So race day schedule here is Sunday. This is May 3rd. Races at Vieira High School. 6 a.m. is when packet pickup starts and race day registration. I would encourage you guys to get registered and get your packet ahead of time if you can. If going to Running Zone is really out of the way before Sunday, then don't bother with it. Don't stress over it. You can pick it up in the morning. But if you happen to be in the area, go ahead and pick up your packet. It's one less thing you have to do on race day. And if you want to get registered, I would encourage you guys, since we have a couple days still, to get registered before day of, but you can register day of also. 6:45 is when that late registration ends. That'll also be when the last time you can pick up your packet. And 7 a.m. we're going to start. And I'll go over the course in just a second here. And at 8:10, about 8:10, the Little Pepperoni Kids Run is happening, and that is free. So if any of you guys bring your kids out there, that'll be happening after the 5K. So what's in your packet? Similar to other races, if you guys have done it, you'll have your official bib number. The B tag is on the back of your number. So make sure you don't fold that at all. That is your, I want to say timing chip because it used to be a chip, but your timing tag. So that number will go on the front of either your shorts or your shirt. You use safety pin on, you'll get safety pins in there as well. And just make sure you're not folding that thicker tag on the back, since that is your timing tag. You'll get safety pins in there, you get a race shirt, and other promotional material should all be there in your packet. And parking is really easy for this race because there's tons of parking at the high school. So if you haven't been out there, you'll pull off of stadium. You have this whole parking lot here that you can park in. There's plenty of parking. Even next to the high school is Vieira Middle School now, so there's plenty of parking there as well. And then you'll just walk over to the stadium. The entrance will be on this side here. You'll take the sidewalk over and enter. So plenty of parking there before the race. So the race course, you're going to start and end on the track. So down here is where the race will start. You're going to loop around. Ooh, my presentation went away. Hold on. You do need a visual for this one to see where the course map is. All right, here you go. So we're going to start on the track. You're going to loop around the track. You're going to head out of a gate here that will be open. You run along the canal. There's a little bit of uphill here when you're heading out. You're going to get that downhill when we turn back the last little bit of the race. You're going to turn left. You're going to go to a U-turn right before the roundabout. You're going to come back. You're going to go all the way. I believe that's Judge Branson Road. But you're going to U-turn here at the stoplight, and then you'll head back into the track and then loop around the track. There is, with this race, that fast track award. So when you get back on the track for the second time, there is an award for who does this part the fastest. So there's different strategies with that. Sometimes it's the people that win the race. Sometimes it's people have taken it a little easier as a warm-up before they get and do that fast track award. So just something to be mindful. There'll be a timing mount when you get back on the track for that fast track, but pretty simple race course. And like I said, you'll have that little bit of downhill coming back in, little bit of uphill going out. So on the way out, don't go nuts up the hill, just strong, steady up the hill. You'll still have a lot of energy because it's so close to the start. And then it's really nice when you come back in, you'll get that downhill and really try to use that momentum as you head back onto the track. But really good course. Course info, this is just, sorry, My brain is not working today. Just the course written in words, so you can see what roads there are there, where you'll head out along, like I said, that canal. That's a slight incline to get up to Lake Andrews. And then you'll have the downhill coming back in. This tells you where those U-turns are, but it's very well marked, a very easy course out there from the high school. Here's an example of my personal timeline. I would encourage you guys, even though this is quote unquote just a 5K, it's still a race. We still want to get the most out of ourselves. So I would encourage you to do a timeline the night before. Start with the race time and work your way backwards of when you want to leave the house, what you want to eat. You can see this is mine of when I want to wake up, what I want to eat, leaving the house, when I want to warm up, leaving some extra time to go to the bathroom if I need to, that sort of thing. You could also put on here any type of fueling plan you have with, yes, what you're going to eat for breakfast, but between 4:30 and 7, that's 2.5 hours between before the race. So I would be sipping on some type of electrolytes, maybe even taking a gel. A lot of people don't think of that for the 5K because it's shorter than like the 15K or some of these longer races that honestly have become more sexy, than just the 5K. That's why I kind of put it in quotes. Like, it's still a really hard race. And that gel a little bit before the start is just going to help you have that energy to run your best throughout the race. Now, if you haven't been doing that in training and you haven't been using the gels, don't do this on race day. It's just something to think about in the future for future races. But you can make a note on here on what your fueling plan is for before the race and then during the race. And I would even encourage you guys for after the race, because I think that's often overlooked of when you get done, there are snacks and food there, but do you want to throw in a protein shake or something you can easily have in the car and a little cooler to have afterwards just to start that recovery process as soon as you get done. Okay, race day tips. The first mile should not feel hard. It's obviously going to be quicker than the 15K. It's a third of the distance, but we still want it to be very controlled that first mile to a mile and a half. So it's going to be a little harder than that tempo threshold pace where you are uncomfortable. Excuse me. Solid. Excuse me. So you don't want to go out too fast, but you do want to be pushing. It is a 5K. So we want to kind of have our foot on the gas from the beginning, just not too quick. There will still be a lot of people that go out too quickly in the race. We always tend to see them near the end of the race at 1.5 miles, 2 miles, 2.5 miles, where they really got that monkey on the back of their having to slow down. So don't go out too fast, but definitely a little quicker than the 15K. It still is only Thursday right now as I'm recording this. So if anybody has questions about their race pace for the 5K on Sunday, please let me know by like Friday evening so I have time on Saturday to look through them all. But if you're not sure what your race pace should be, especially with the weather, I mean, it's just a little warmer right now. It's Florida. It doesn't look like we're going to have that, winter weather. I mean, it's almost May, so we weren't expecting it. So we just have to adjust our expectations a little bit for that it's not going to be 50 degrees. And that's okay. We can still run really fast. So if you have any questions about your pacing, please let me know. When you're out there, if there is a little bit of a breeze, try to have someone block it for you, whether that's a headwind or from the side. I haven't seen much about the wind that it's going to be really heavy. But if something changes, it's Florida. The weather changes all the time. You're going to go strong and steady up that incline. I mentioned that when you're heading out, strong and steady on that way out before you take that first left-hand turn. You can make up a lot more time on the downhills and the uphills. We talked about this for the 15K, and that still holds true in this 5K. There's not as much of that little bit of rolling up and down as with the 15K, but you do have that little bit of up, little bit of down. So use it to your advantage, especially on the downhill. Even as you get tired, I put it on here, the focus on form, especially leaning into that hill on the way out. But throughout the race, as you get tired, think about your form. It's a great distraction when you're in the middle of the race, but also it does really help you move faster. That when you're thinking about your form, you're thinking about quick feet, relaxing your shoulders so you're not using as much energy. Don't clench your fist. As your legs get tired, drive your arms. Those legs are just going to follow you. So just think about those. And even ahead of time, think about what cues you want to use when it gets hard. Because when it gets hard, you're not going to be thinking as clearly as you are right now. So think about what cues really resonate with you. If when you hear quick feet, that really helps you accelerate, that would be a great one. If you're someone that tends to run like this, think about relaxing your shoulders. We've talked about opening your arms up a little bit more in the back. So another great one to think about. Just like with the 15K, I would also encourage you to come up with a mantra. Again, this is going to be something that resonates with you. It might be something different for the 15K versus this 5K versus a race you do 2 months from now, whether it's a song lyric, whether it's something, more textbook motivation, like, you are strong, you can do hard things, you got this. Come up with something. As long as it resonates with you, it doesn't matter what anyone thinks about it. So again, think about that now, because when times get tough in the 5K, they always get tough in the 5K. If there's anything that I can guarantee for race day, you're not going to be thinking clearly to what is a great mantra to motivate me right now. Think of that ahead of time, so it almost becomes second nature when you're in the middle of the race. And one note on that, when the 5K gets tough, you are tougher than this 5K. It's 3 miles. We've all run 3 miles. We've trained for this. Lean into that, be tough, lean into that discomfort. That's where these best times come from. That's where you're able to reach your goals. That at some point it's going to get uncomfortable if you're running it correctly and you're working to your potential. So kind of lean into it. Like, you can definitely do hard things. I mean, I know I have it written right here as a mantra, but you've done hard things for 16 weeks. This is a time we get to show off and show everybody. All right, so that's all with Eat My Crust. Did want to do a quick camp wrap up. Excuse me again. Really, just to say thank you. That it's been a huge honor to coach you guys over the last 16 weeks. I know there's several of you guys, a lot of you guys that have done more than one camp. That this isn't your first camp out here with us. So thanks for continuing to trust me with your training and your coaching throughout all of these camps. I have so much fun. I look forward to Tuesdays. Even if I didn't get a lot of sleep the night before with the babies and the kids and everything, the Tuesday evenings are really a highlight to my week. It just puts me in a really good mood when I'm leaving, when I come home. And so I really want to thank you guys for letting me continue to be able to do this. That if nobody registered, I would have no camp, but I wouldn't be able to. So selfishly, thank you very much for bringing that joy into my life. And I never imagined I would be as passionate as I am about the camps and coaching. I know you guys have heard the story before that Brittany asked me, a year before I started, and I was like, no, I have no desire. She was like, how about you just do one? And that was when Chris was barely walking. I was looking back because his birthday just passed, and he was barely walking with that nice wide stance out there at the housing loop, and he just turned 7. So, thank you so much. You guys inspire me out there to work harder, to be better, to find new workouts, to be creative. So thank you so much. I can't wait to see a lot of you guys at future camps, whether that's the summer or the fall. Or just out on the roads for the races, for training out on Tropical Trail. And seriously, never hesitate to reach out if you need anything at all. So just want to say thank you. Speaking of future camps, we'll wrap up with, we have our Summer Sweat and Speed Camp. Registration is now open for that. We get a 2-week break, and then we'll kick off on May 19th. We'll be targeting Firecracker 5K July 4th. So it'll be a shorter 7-week camp. It's a really fun camp. It's more bite-sized. If you have any friends that have thought about running, but they're not sure, 16 weeks can kind of seem daunting to sign up for sometimes. So nice little bite-sized 7-week camp. It'll be the same structure that we've been doing for all these camps. We'll have our Tuesday evening and the Sunday morning, and then we'll also have our Wednesday morning option will still be offered in the summer. Now, Coach Brittany's not here in the summer. She's up in Iowa. But because so many of you guys wanted to continue to have the morning session, we're figuring out a way to make it work. So we're going to be a little more beachside than we have been this previous camp over the spring. We'll still have some sessions over in Vieira. We'll have at least one at the track. We'll have Costco. We're going to do the Causeway twice. Since we are targeting Firecracker 5K, we need to get those hills in, those causeways in. And then we will be over at the housing loop and the satellite track once. So just keep that in mind. And we'll be rotating who is coaching that. So I'll still be writing the workouts just like I have been. I'll be looking in your final surges. Coach Brittany will still have access to all of that. But the coach in person will be rotating between myself, Coach Alex, and potentially someone else. Because there are 2 weeks for both the Tuesday and the Wednesday options where I'm gone. I go out to Arizona for 2 weeks with my family. So Coach Alex will be covering that and potentially a couple other coaches that we'll bring in to help just to make sure that you guys are supported. So no, we've had that question with the Wednesday morning. We are offering Wednesday morning, but we'll have a rotation of coaches until Coach Brittany gets back. Then we'll also continue to have our fall marathon, half marathon camp. That doesn't kick off until August 11th. Registration will be open this summer, but that'll be 16 weeks, just like it has been. It'll start, like I said, that August 11th, and we'll still continue to have that Tuesday evening or morning or Wednesday morning option. And something to keep in mind is that you can go back and forth between the Tuesday and the Wednesday. If you have something come up on Tuesday evening, you need to attend Wednesday morning. That's no problem. It's the same workout and vice versa. It'll be interesting. We haven't been rained out a ton. and I'm scared to say it in the past, but if anything happens on Tuesday evening, we will have that Wednesday morning option. And if it looks like there's going to be a lot of heavy rain for Wednesday morning, then I'll put that in the email that goes out Monday, that you might want to come Tuesday evening if it's possible, if it's looking like thunderstorms Wednesday morning. But the afternoon thunderstorms are more likely in Florida, but we'll keep everybody in the loop as we move on to future camps. All right, I'll hang on for a couple minutes if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, thank you so much. Again, thank you for trusting me with your training and letting me coach you over the last 16 weeks. And I'm really excited to see everybody this Sunday at Eat My Crust. I'll have a tent up probably next to the Space Coast Runners tent over there. Anybody that hasn't picked up a shirt, I will have those there. Or you can email me and I will have them at the office and you guys can stop by and get them. But come over and let me know how the race goes. I'll be out there cheering and I'm just really excited for this weekend.